Hey guys, long time no see. Now a lot of you might be wondering, why have I had to wait one whole month for the next rain vid? And I just gotta tell ya, I'm damn lazy when it comes to editing. Whether it's drawing for 10 hours straight or critiquing art pieces, I cannot for the life of me edit a video without mentally imploding. Now, I've got my Avengers. Well, Avenger. I have an editor. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. PP, my free labor editor.
Help me!
He has offered to help me with some of these videos coming out. So we're trialing out a new editing style, and I hope you guys like it and be kind to him. And I want to stress this. I don't see myself as a professional designer by any means, nor an amazing, talented one. My knowledge library is still very much limited in comparison. However, I still want to try and give you guys a peek into my brain and how I approach character design in a whole. It may not even be about the clothing or armor, hair, accessories, posing, scarring, physical builds, weapons, everything. Everything is needed to be accounted for when you're creating a character design. For example, I'm going to use the three characters, Belle, Sun, and Hina, of the manga I'm creating called Your Drive. Each of these characters follow different perspectives of a world that I am creating, as I'm trying to guide the audience through. Belle is an outer city scrap collector who in her past has had time in the army, which in means has designed the way that she's dressed and how she presents herself within the world that she exists in. She is built, dressed tight, sharp, and a very tactical character when presented. However, the singular fact of something like her hair being weirdly long for a practical, tactical character who's built to fight is consistent in her character's stories and ideals on why she would keep it that way. When you look at her, you're given the idea that she is built to fight, a very serious character in design. Tactical boots, cargo pants, compression singlet, and arm bandaging all relate together in the idea that this character is built for surviving and not worried about physical appearances. Now on to Sun, my debonair gambler. Out of the three, his design is the most unique in terms of clothing that he is wearing. A very signature jacket, modeled similarly to techwear or cyberpunk aesthetics. He is a character that breathes the idea of style, someone impressive looking on the outside. However, when removed, the jacket reveals his character's insecurities and oddities. A body fully covered in blacked out ink with reverse white tattoo detailing. Without knowing his story, you get the idea that in a sci-fi world, clothing or body, his design is consistent in the perspective of a rich playboy smartass, who doesn't mind sticking out with the clothing that he wears. Facial tattoos, ear piercings, dyed hair, unique clothing all relate in the idea of the consistency that is his character design. Even his weaponry, dubbed Alpha and Frenzy, are two twin guns flaunted in his own design, as they are his signature pieces and what shines out his brilliance, that is, a weaponsmith in the world of Your Drive. Last and certainly not least, the graceful and kind Hina. Hina is the only character out of the three that I wanted to stick out as an anomaly in the world that she exists in. Being a character that wakes up oblivious to the surroundings and story that has been damaged and warped since before the apocalypse, I want to ensure her design kicks the ideas of an innocent girl on an adventure to explore and figure out what has happened. Her design works in all of these ideas because I put her in random clothing items that she found that can exist in the areas and people that work similarly to her. A unique coat design made from a designer in the world who creates clothing for intercity travelers such as herself. Full compression bodysuit with a strange mix of chest plating and clip-on dress. It's meant to spike the idea on why and where she got these clothing items. For someone who woke up in this outfit, why is it made of collective parts and salvage clothing? Which adds into the idea of Hina's own lack of knowledge when it comes to the place that she resides in, as I want the audience to look through her eyes. Now, am I a perfect designer by any means? No. However, I'm using these examples in hopes of explaining to you how my mind forms around creating designs for characters fit for the story and world that they exist in. Time to get into some designs. I'll be creating characters based on different worlds and roles while avoiding these following mistakes. Creating an outfit with a design that has no function. It's very easy when creating a character design to get lost in the source that is, damn, this would look cool. May it be a futuristic apocalypse or medieval fantasy, your characters and designs must make sense within the world that they exist in. Chalking up a design to, but the magic, they have baked it so they don't have to wear protection, is lazy. Don't be afraid to redesign this character to fit more within the environment of the world that you yourself placed them in. Imagine yourself in the character's shoes and really think about what they do. Are they a rogue? Are they a soldier? Are they a tactician? Design their clothing and dress them accordingly. Even the wildest designs can be still grounded with logical reasoning. Ignoring this can stunt the viewer's perception on the character's roles through solely visuals. Next up, I'm sure you've heard about same face syndrome, but have you heard about same body type syndrome? And have you thought about how much body types actually affect your characters? Looking at your characters, I'm sure a lot of you can notice how similar character body types are regardless of how many of them that you've drawn. It's easy to fall into the habit of doing so, especially when you're still learning and figuring out anatomy and proportional adjustments when differing characters. Failing to keep this in mind can ultimately create a very bland contrast when viewing all of your characters within a vacuum, and cause them to be very much less memorable comparatively as like a cast. How to avoid this? Force yourself to play with a variety of lanky, buff, tall, short, wide, angular. Mess around and force yourself. Forcing yourself with each of these different body types just to get used to essentially bending and shifting anatomy in the many forms that it can come with. Now, one thing I stress absolutely, ultimately, when it comes to creating characters, in my views, is overall character consistency. This may come off as weird, but I truly mean this when I say this. Become your character. How your character looks, their hair, their clothes, their weapon, whatever it is ultimately based off of who the character is in the world or idea that you've created them in. Design aside, this can also affect how the character holds themselves, poses themselves, and presents themselves to other characters or compositions you want to form them into. What do you mean by consistency, you may ask? This being the ultimate rule of thumb I follow when creating a design, I ensure that every aspect of the character I'm creating is not only consistent in the world that they're in, but the backstory that I've built them up from. Say you're creating a knight, a fighter, born in the fray, a soldier, character built for war, and then you give them a sword and a belt with common clothes. What are you doing? Stop ripping your character out of the world that they exist in the hopes of somehow making them unique or stick out from the rest of the cast. It's pretty lazy. Overall, as you can see, based off the basic prompts I gave myself, I've created 2 characters in opposing worlds, jobs, and varying body sizes. Also keeping in mind that I attempted to vary design density, functionality, and just overall to show you no matter how crazy you want to go with any character design, make sure to always keep in mind these mistakes that are very easy to fall into. Now, although character designing ultimately leads into being subjective, it's still important to keep in mind these factors in which that can help either ruin or dull your character's potential in the story or world you want them to be a part of. Keeping these things in mind helps for a lot easier clarity and consistency when you're designing them. At least that's what I try to keep in mind when I'm creating my characters. I appreciate those who stuck around for the video, and hopefully you gained a new perspective when it comes to character designing, at least from my eyes. Big thanks to my patrons and my editor, PP. Without them, I wouldn't be able to pursue my craft as well as I can now. Huge thanks to them. If you like my art and want to see it all in real time, come check out my Twitch at Rain9x9. I stream daily over there at varying times for each time zones and answer a lot of questions about my stories or art there. Also be sure to check out my amazing Discord where we have one of the greatest art communities ever. We just hit 1,000 people, so it'd be great to see you there. And also be sure to follow my socials if you haven't. My Patreon, I have a lot of my other quick tutorials and everything. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.